friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We are back today with another meal in a jar, no canning needed. This time it is a high protein meal. I'm still trying to come up with a name for it, so after you see it, if you have any ideas, feel free to drop some ideas in the comments, but I think I'm going to call it chicken bacon bean bake. Say that 5 times fast, chicken bacon bean bake. But pretty much we can prep most of the ingredients in a jar ahead of time and just have to kind of saute up an onion and stuff like that when it's time to make. But most of it can be prepped ahead in meal in a jar style. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this recipe, we only need 1 pint jar. We're going to start with dried beans, also known as instant beans. These are not your dry beans that you buy at the store. Well, they start out that way, but they're dehydrated beans. Let me show you what they look like. You can use any kind of beans, but I do highly recommend white beans for this recipe. I believe these are northern beans. Navy beans also work really well. You could even do like a cannellini bean. But basically these are cooked beans that you then dehydrate, and you can use those for making meals in jars like this. To dehydrate beans, you just put your dehydrator at 125, between 125 and 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and go until they're done. I typically will put them on before I go to bed and then get them in the next morning, and it typically runs about 9 hours. But with all dehydrating projects, you just go until it's thoroughly dry. You know it's thoroughly dry when you can pretty much crumble them and crack them in your hand like this. And this is dehydrated, not freeze-dried. Okay, so we need 1.5 cups of dehydrated beans. Let me bring this closer to here. 1.5 cups of dehydrated beans. Highly recommend some kind of white bean. And to that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of bacon bits. Now, let me talk about bacon bits, because I have gotten questions before of people commenting that these are not shelf stable. These are shelf stable. The expiration date is December of 2026. That is 10 months from now. And what the instructions say is to refrigerate after opening, and that's where people get hung up, which you do what you are comfortable with in your own kitchen, absolutely. Here's why I'm comfortable with it. Is there anything special about this package? Is it vacuum sealed? Nope. If it was vacuum sealed, it would be super hard. I'm going to open it and see, is there a moisture absorber in there? Nope, no moisture absorber. So what is so special about this package that can last for 10 months on the shelf, but I just opened it and boom, now it's only going to last a week? Doesn't really make sense. So because this is dried bacon, it's cured, it's dried. There's less than, believe 5% moisture in this. I think that's the rule that has to happen in order for it to be packaged this way. It may even be less than 5% moisture. But here's what I do in my kitchen. Whenever I use bacon bits like these in meals in jars, I vacuum seal them, because in a vacuum sealed glass is a whole lot more protected than a non-vacuum sealed porous plastic bag. So I'm actually increasing the shelf stability by transferring it into a glass jar and then vacuum sealing it. The rule of thumb with vacuum sealing dried goods is not to vacuum seal any ingredients that have more than 10% moisture. Sticky dried cranberries fall under this category. So you wouldn't want to vacuum seal dried cranberries that are sticky and really moist. This is far less than 10% moisture, so it's totally okay to vacuum seal. Kind of chased a little rabbit there, but I wanted to explain that, and I hope that makes sense, but do what you're comfortable with in your own kitchen. So 1/2 cup of bacon bits. And at this point, you want to shake it down so that all of our seasonings and stuff will mix in there good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of tomato powder. You can certainly make this at home yourself. We have a video tutorial that shows you how, but it's also available online at places like Amazon. It can be dehydrated. You do not need a freeze dryer to make tomato powder. Okay, next we're going to do 1 tablespoon of chicken broth powder. One tablespoon of chicken broth powder, kind of a little bit heaping. And to that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of peppers, and I'll talk to you about those. So you can use dehydrated or freeze-dried. Here are the two side by side. This one's freeze-dried, this one's dehydrated. So you can see the difference. They are both a mixture of green and red bell peppers. If you're using dehydrated, you want to use half a tablespoon. If you're using freeze-dried, you want to use 1 tablespoon. These shrink to about half their original size. Freeze-dried don't. So that's the difference between the measurements. I'm going to use dehydrated today, so I'm going to use half a tablespoon of dehydrated peppers. I'm just going to use my 1 tablespoon. Actually, I'm not, because it does still have a good bit of powder left on it. So I'll go ahead and use a half tablespoon of dehydrated peppers. Okay, next are some seasonings. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Let me bring that jar up closer again. 1, 2. And then half a teaspoon of salt. And finally, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Let me make sure, because I have just recently been playing around with this recipe. Let me make sure I've got my notes. That's all the seasonings? Yep, that is all the seasonings. So, like I said, I am going to be vacuum sealing this. If I were storing this on my, if I was meal prepping and storing these for my shelf, I would be prepping 4 jars at a time right now. It doesn't make sense to only prep 1 jar, because then that's not really, you're not really saving any time, right? But I am, just for the sake of filming this video, I'm going to go ahead and cook this up so y'all can see the whole process start to finish. So I'm only doing 1 jar today, but this is what it looks like finished. It's really pretty, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and cook this up. We're going to start this recipe by browning an onion. So we need to heat up about a tablespoon or 2 of oil. We like to use avocado oil. We're going to heat it up to medium-high heat and get an onion browning. Because I am using a whole onion for this recipe, the beans can be kind of bland and they can suck out the flavor of the other things around them. So I do want this to be very heavily seasoned. So since I'm using a whole onion, I do try to get about a medium-sized onion, not a super, super big onion. Once the onions are browned to your liking, we can go ahead and add in our jar mix. We just dump in the whole jar. And I do like to stir it around and kind of coat it in that oil for just a minute and toast the spices for just about 1 minute or so. Now, if you notice, there is very little fat in this meal, and if you want to keep it that way, then skip the butter, but I'm going to be adding about 2 tablespoons of butter. Get that on the bottom, get that melting good, and then as soon as that butter is melted, we'll add our water. Okay, now we need to add in our water, and we need 4 cups of water. Give that a good stir. and let it come up to a boil. Oops, I forgot to mention that you do want to lower it to a simmer, which I did, I just forgot to mention it. So lower it to a simmer when you put your lid on and let it simmer for 20 minutes. Now, if you are wondering, wait, where is the chicken? We are leaving it out for two reasons, because we are using canned chicken. And we are using canned chicken specifically because we have received several requests to not lean too heavily on freeze-dried foods, because not everyone has a freeze dryer, and freeze-dried ingredients can be pricey to get online. We raise meat rabbits, and so I would actually be using 1 pint of rabbit meat for this recipe, but I assume that most people don't raise meat rabbits, and I want to keep this recipe as adaptable and accessible to as many people as possible, which is why I'm going with just a store-bought can of chicken. You can absolutely use your own home canned chicken. I'm just out. But because we are using canned chicken, we don't want to overcook it. It's already cooked, right? And so we are only going to be adding that at the very end, which I will show you in just a minute. If you do have a freeze dryer, you can absolutely add freeze-dried chicken to your original meal in a jar. I would say about 1 cup, but you can make that however you want, but I would say 1 cup, and then go ahead and increase the total amount of water that you add to 5 cups. That's how I would do this if you would like to go ahead, if you have a freeze dryer and you would like to go ahead and add your meat to the jar. Okay, we'll be back when the timer goes off. Okay, once that timer goes off, we can go ahead and add in our meat. So I'm going to be doing canned chicken. Here's what it looks like at this point. It still has some more cooking to do for the liquid to be absorbed, but just go ahead and add your meat and make sure it's really well drained, because as you can see, we already have a decent amount of liquid in the skillet. We don't need to be adding any more, but get that mixed in well. And we're going to let this cook and simmer for another 10 to 15 minutes. I just go by how much liquid is in there, and I leave the lid off at this point so that some of the remaining liquid can evaporate off. I'm going to go with 15 minutes with the lid off, and we will come back and do the final step, which is to top it off with some cheese and herbs. Here's how it looks at this point. It's thickened up nicely. Now we're ready for our final step. If you would like to keep this dairy-free, you can absolutely skip this step, but I top it with cheese. Just a nice little topping on top. Not a ton. But if you do skip the cheese, I do highly recommend not skipping the last thing, which is crumbled parsley on top. Let's go ahead and turn the heat off. But the crumbled parsley really adds a nice complement to it. I'd say about a tablespoon of crushed parsley. This is freeze-dried. If you have fresh, that would be even better. So at this point, I'm going to turn the heat off, put the lid on, and remove it off the heat. And it can just sit there for a few minutes for the cheese to get all nice and melty, and it's ready to serve. Here's what the finished product looks like. Let's go ahead and give it a taste test. That was very satisfying. Okay, y'all, I hope you try it and that you love it, and we will be back with more jar recipes soon. That's all for today. We'll see you next time. Bye.